In a diplomatic world where every gesture is read, every handshake analyzed, and every gift interpreted as symbolic, a recent scene involving Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, the man you find on your screen there, and His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, offers a revealing lens into the cultural and political rot-consuming Cameroon. A video that you find there, since gone viral, captures what should have been a routine greeting with the Pope, but instead ended in the moment of awkward refusal that has stirred conversation across continents. The footage, lasting less than a minute, shows Paul Atanganji extending what appears to be an unsealed envelope directly into the Pope's hands while engaging in light pleasantries. The Pope, without hesitation, subtly refuses to take it, instead maintaining the decorum of a handshake and verbal exchange. While on the surface this may appear to be a minor diplomatic hiccup, the act bears the hallmark of something more insidious, a covert attempt at gifting that betrays the informal corruption practices that have long been normalized in La République du Cameroun. But let us be clear here. In diplomatic protocol, handing over any envelope, sealed or unsealed, to a head of state or religious leader, such as the Pope, without prior arrangement, is highly irregular. Highly irregular. It breaks with diplomatic formality, bypasses the clerical and bureaucratic structures of Vatican communication, and smells of impropriety. The fact that the envelope was unsealed, that means open, adds a layer of suspicion. Was it money? Was it bribe? A letter? A token? We may never know. But the symbolic nature of the act, combined with Cameroon's well-known global reputation for endemic corruption and fraud, leaves little room for charitable interpretation. This is not just about one man's ill-advised action. It reflects, ladies and gentlemen, an entire culture of governance that assumes shortcuts, bribery, and backdoor diplomacy are the normal, acceptable modes of operation. In La République du Cameroun, especially under the Paul Biya's regime, officialdom has for decades confused state service with personal enrichment and diplomacy with image laundering. Pope Leo XIV, known for his humility and sharp moral clarity, reacted with a poise that was at once polite and pointed. He didn't escalate the moment or call attention to the envelope. No. But his body language was unmistakable. A gentle decline of the hand of Atanganji, a direction of focus, and a commitment to the principle of integrity, even in the face of subtle coercion. It was a profound message. Without a single word, the Pope told the world that not everything offered must be accepted or received, and that holiness cannot be bought. This simple gesture stood in stark contrast to the corrupt pageantry so often associated with La République du Cameroun's officials. Why Paul Atanganji smiled, as you can see there, smiled. His mission, whatever it was quietly denied. And in that moment, the world saw what many Cameroonians already know. the shamelessness of a regime that has lost its moral compass. Paul Atanganji is not just another Cameroonian politician. He is the face of internal repression in that country, the mouthpiece of a regime that has overseen the brutalization of dissent, and the coordinator of territorial administration that functions less to serve citizens and more to police them. His name is often associated with the persecution of Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, the suppression of media freedoms, and the manipulation of public sentiment. That is what Paul Atanganji is known for. That is what he is all about in that country. That he would represent Cameroon on such a sacred global platform speaks volumes. That he would attain such an informal, presumptuous gesture or bribe, as many are calling it, in front of the Pope, further illuminates his own disconnect from international protocol and spiritual dignity. But more importantly, it reveals how deeply the culture of informal bribery and impunity has infected even the most senior corridors of Cameroonian power. This event should not be taken in isolation. It must be understood as a microcosm of a larger disease affecting La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon is a nation riddled with dysfunction at every level, from the collapse of its public institutions to the militarization of its politics, to the wanton disregard for human rights and press freedoms. The country is sinking under the weight of its own authoritarian habits. The Paul Biya's regime, ladies and gentlemen, relationship with religion has always been one of instrumentalization rather than reverence. Churches are used for political gain. Religious leaders co-opted or silenced. In such a landscape, it should come as no surprise at all, that even the Vatican is not spared an attempt at transactional cohesion. Not even the Vatican is spared. Yet, what Cameroonian officials forget is that not all institutions are as bendable as theirs. The Vatican, for all its own internal challenges, still represents a moral authority that does not bend easily to political corruption. Pope Leo XIV, in his quiet but firm rejection, exposed not just the man before him, as you see there, but the rod behind him. This scene, though subtle, may linger in the minds of international observers. For diplomats, for journalists, and global church leaders, the visual of a Cameroonian minister trying to hand something unsealed to the Pope should reinforce already entrenched beliefs about the nature of the Biya regime and his leaders. It confirms that even when given a global stage to restore some dignity, Cameroon's leadership cannot help but act in ways that betray a hunger for influence through dubious means. For the Vatican, it was likely a footnote in a day filled with formalities. But for the millions watching in La République du Cameroon and across all of Africa, it was a moment of clarity, a reminder that the world sees and the world judges. What should Cameroonian citizens, La République du Cameroon citizens, take from this? First, that their leaders are not just corrupt at home, but shameless even abroad. Second, that not every institution can be bought or manipulated, and that there still exists a moral order that recognizes and rejects dishonor, no matter how subtle it is disguised. And finally, this is a call for La République du Cameroon citizens to hold their leaders, the likes of Atangi, to account. If they will embarrass you on the international stage, if they will use your national name to peddle influence through envelopes, rather than ideas, then you must rise and say, not in my name, not in my name. In the end, this belief interaction was more than just a diplomatic misstep. It was a confrontation between two worldviews, one rooted in spiritual grace, humility, and moral rectitude, and the other rooted in corruption, arrogance, and opportunism. The Pope may not have said a word, but his actions spoke louder than any condemnation. He exposed a regime, a government, not with accusations, but with posture. Paul Atanganji may return to Yaoundé and spin, as we know him, spin the moment any way he wishes. But the video is out there. The world has seen it. And for those who have eyes to see, it says everything, everything.